Have you ever noticed that the more you overthink something, the more difficult it becomes? It's not a lack of skill or intelligence, it's just that overthinking creates unnecessary doubts, turning simple tasks into impossible challenges. Let me share a story about a man who had mastered an extraordinary craft but nearly lost everything to the one thing he never expected: his own mind. The legend of the lock whisperer. This man was no ordinary locksmith. He had a gift that seemed almost supernatural. Known far and wide as the lock whisperer, he could open any lock, no matter how complex, rusted, or ancient. Old vaults that had remained shut for decades, he could crack them within moments. Safes that had been forgotten by time, he made them spring open with a flick of his wrist. His reputation grew, and soon he was invited to exhibitions where crowds gathered to witness his incredible talent. Everywhere he went, he left people in awe. He would be handed the most challenging locks, and without fail, he would unlock them as if they were mere toys. His skills earned him not just admiration, but also a place in history as one of the greatest locksmiths of his time. His confidence grew with every success. "There isn't a lock in this world that I can't open," he often boasted. And up until that point, he had never been proven wrong. A mysterious invitation. One day, a wealthy businessman approached him with an offer. "There's an elite competition happening soon," he said. "Only the best of the best are invited. If you win, you'll walk away with a prize worth millions." The locksmith was intrigued. The idea of competing against others didn't intimidate him, it excited him. He was ready to prove once again that he was the best. On the day of the event, the atmosphere was electric. The challenge was unlike anything he had faced before. In the middle of a massive arena stood a giant water tank with a heavy steel box inside. The box had a sophisticated locking mechanism, and the rules were simple. 1. The locksmith would be locked inside the box. 2. The box would be submerged in the water tank. 3. He had to unlock the box and escape before he ran out of air. If he failed, there was a panic button that would signal the team to pull him out immediately. The locksmith laughed. "That's it?" he said confidently. "I've unlocked doors under worse conditions. This will be over in seconds." The crowd erupted in cheers as he climbed inside. He gave a thumbs up, signaling that he was ready. Then, with a loud clank, the box was sealed shut, and it was lowered into the water. The unexpected struggle. As the box sank deeper, silence filled the arena. Every eye was fixed on the tank, waiting to witness his brilliance. Inside, the locksmith took a deep breath and got to work. He reached for his tools, feeling completely in control. This was his element, his domain. But as he tried to pick the lock, something strange happened. The lock wouldn't budge. He frowned, adjusting his grip, trying different techniques. Still, nothing. For the first time in his life, he felt an unfamiliar sensation doubt. His fingers, which were once precise and steady, started to tremble. "Why isn't this working?" he thought. "I've done this 1,000 times." Seconds turned into minutes. Panic crept in. His breath grew shallow. The water above him felt heavier, as if pressing down on his chest. He could hear his own thoughts growing louder. "What if I fail? Everyone is watching. What if I disappoint them? What if this is the moment I prove I'm not as great as they think?" The more he thought, the worse it got. His hands fumbled, his instincts dulled, and his mind, once his greatest asset, became his biggest enemy. The moment of truth time was running out. His lungs burned for air. He had one last choice: keep struggling or press the panic button. His heart pounded. "I can't let them see me fail," but his body screamed for oxygen. With shaking hands, he finally pressed the panic button. Within seconds, the rescue team pulled the box out of the water. As the lid was unlocked, the locksmith gasped for air, collapsing in exhaustion. His face was pale, his confidence shattered. The crowd murmured. He avoided their eyes, his heart sinking. "They must think I'm a fraud." Then something unbelievable happened. As he shifted his weight to sit up, the door swung open. The shocking truth. He stared at the open door in disbelief. The lock had never been locked at all. The organizer approached him with a knowing smile. "It wasn't about the lock," he said. "It was about your mind. You let overthinking become your real obstacle." The locksmith was speechless. His own mind had trapped him.